My cat looks so angry at me right now. Moving on. Hello and welcome to day 2 of my 30-day writing challenge. If you shared the last video, if you liked the last video, if you commented or anything like that, that really means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate if you've decided to join me on my writing challenge. That means a whole lot to me as well. I'm not in this alone. But yeah, thank you for any support. Day 2 and the next few days following are going to be about finding inspiration, because you can't write something if you don't have an idea. And most of the time when you sit down to write something, it's because you already have an idea and it's something that you want to write. But there are circumstances, if you write for a living, if you take a class, in this 30-day challenge, where you have to write even if you don't have an idea. Finding inspiration is like hair grips, like bobby pins. When you need one the most, you cannot find any of them unless you're organised and you put things away where they're supposed to be. And something I think about ideas that I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me is that no idea is entirely original. You might get there's probably a ration of 3 original ideas a year, and certain geniuses get them, but I don't. But ideas come from all sorts of places. They come from your everyday life, they come from things you read in the news, they come from historical events, and they come from other things that you consume, like films or other books and that sort of thing. Something I do know to be true is that authors steal things. The mark of a good author is if you steal something well. Maybe not steal, maybe copy. Whatever it is, if you take an idea from something else, you have to make it your own. And people do that all the time. The wonderful thing about you being you and someone else being someone else is that no two people will ever look at an idea the same way. You probably get this in group projects, but another example of that is something I get all the time, which is when I watch a film. I could think to myself, oh, the characters have to do this. This is the obvious way to resolve the plot, and it will create good tension or something like this. This is the thing that has to happen. And then the author goes in an entirely different direction. And that doesn't mean that it's a bad direction, it's just not the one that I would have gone or not the one I was anticipating. And most of the time after watching something like that, I have this moment in my head where I think, okay, what if? What if this had happened? Or what if this character had done this? Or what if this had never happened? What if what I had thought had happened? And if the answer is it creates conflict, or it creates a good moment between characters, or it adds another dimension or risk to the story, it is a good setup for another plot, for another idea. If the answer is that everything would have been resolved really quickly, probably not. And that's what we're doing today. The challenge for today is to take another story, a film, a book, a comic, something that happened in history even, take one of those and play the what if game yourself. So for example, if I use The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis, you could say, what if it hadn't taken place in World War II? How would that change the story? What if, instead of a fantasy world being through the wardrobe, what if there was a sci-fi world? What if the things inside the wardrobe came out instead of them going in? And what if, instead of Lucy meeting Mr. Tumnus, what if she was picked up by the White Witch instead of Edmund? How would this change the story? How could you make another story from this? And it's not copying, because you're mixing it up, so you know. Because this is a writing exercise, you don't need to worry about copyright or plagiarism. You can change as much or as little as you want. You can keep the characters the same and change the setting, or change the setting. No, that's the same thing. Change the characters and keep the setting. You could change the characters and the setting and keep kind of the basic of the plot or the general idea and mix it up entirely. There's nothing to stop you from doing any of that. Writing is made up of tiny little pieces you take from other things that make you. You bring your own kind of substance, your own style to it, and that's what makes it your own. That's what makes it your own story. And that is what I would like you to do today, and what I will be doing myself for day 2 of the 30-day writing challenge. Thank you so much for watching. If you wanted to share, like, or subscribe, that would be fantastic. If you wanted to let me know that you're writing, if you wanted to ask me any questions, you can find me at the links below or in the comment section, and I hope you have a really great day too. So, bye! And finding inspiration. Yeah?
Sorry, we're filming.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Can you come down?
Yeah.